miles. The senior official claimed that the mission had demonstrated Iran's confidence on the world stage, but stressed that his nation invited all regional partners to join in on peace and friendship. So what does all of this mean? Well, after nothing short of a failed war in Afghanistan over the past 20 years, and then, of course, a disastrous exit from that country, other nations around the world may be looking to test just how strong and how powerful the U.S. military actually is.
Man, you can't make these scriptures up, man. It's still in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 16. It says that terribleness have deceived you, because Esau been running around in every other fucking nation in the world trying to fix. So, well, they don't really be trying to fix. That's just the cover up. They say they try to fix all these other problems. Meanwhile, there's all type of shit going on right here. You see, they go around bombing and infiltrating and kidnapping and doing all type of madness. And now these nations, they got the same shit they got, so now they're making threats, which is funny as fuck. It says, thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, though thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holds the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, says the Lord. Verse 17 says, also Edom shall be a desolation, everyone that goeth by shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof, as in an overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, says the Lord. No man shall be able to buy there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Behold, it should come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong, but I will surely make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? See, Esau, they know this shit coming. That's, look, let me go see this other video real quick. I'll play this. See what it said. It says SpaceX launches world's first all-civilian space mission. No, they say all-civilian. They ain't putting everybody on this shit. Hold up, let me load up. 1 minute.
What's up, guys? Just got my...
Meanwhile, you got a lot of people talking about building up this place and trying to restore it and all this shit. Esau trying to escape and get the fuck out of here because they know it's coming. Just like we know it's coming. For certain men and other people in general, I don't even just say men. You have some sincere women that actually know and be paying attention to. But they know it's up. That's why they're trying to go up into space so damn bad. Trying to go to Mars and going to Jupiter moons and all this shit. Let me go to this other video.
Well, it seems like now more than ever, how far is too far for the United States government to reach, as their territory of control is rapidly expanding.
My job as president is to protect all Americans. So tonight, I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated.
See, you hear Creepy Joe, man. Creepy Joe ain't fucking around. Well, he ain't really running the show anyway, but that's another topic for another time. Let me get into this. This is what I was looking for.
Their nuclear capabilities. But what we do know is they have continued to increase their production of highly enriched uranium, and according to the Islamic Republic, has increased its stockpile to a level needed for weapons. Now, the International Atomic Energy Agency is scheduled to meet in Vienna on September 13th, with new pressure on the organization to actually formally censor Iran and their nuclear activities. Now, this as the U.S. Navy has just launched a Mideast drone task force following escalating tension in Iran and a series of at-sea attacks by Iranian forces following former President Trump's 2018 decision to unilaterally withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal. So, Iran has also had their own fleet of drones, with footage of flyovers of American aircraft carriers in that region being released. So are these just war games or saber rattling? Or is Iran even more emboldened now with the latest blow to the Western allies?
Yeah, they bold, and the Most High putting the spirit on them to be bold. This is the book of Joel. Let's see, let me go to it real quick. And don't get it twisted when you hear these different videos, because you know some people like to be simple. That's why I had that one video called "Don't Be Simple," even though Esau took it down. But it is what it is. We don't really give a fuck about these other heathens either, because they're gonna be up under us, as it is written in the scriptures. It's in there. You go look, dust that book off. The book of Joel, chapter 3. Let's see. In verse 9 it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, be your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong." That's what they doing. Look, let me write this back.
Following escalating tension in Iran and a series of at-sea attacks by Iranian forces following former President Trump's 2018 decision to unilaterally withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal. So, Iran has also had their own fleet of drones, with footage of flyovers of American aircraft carriers in that region being released. So are these just war games or saber rattling? Or is Iran even more emboldened now with the latest blow to the Western allies? To discuss, we bring in Joe Collins, U.S. Navy veteran and Republican nominee for Congress. Joe, I saw this story. I thought of you because obviously this has a lot of different interactions with your past history and obviously what you're hoping to do in the future. So I want to start with these drones. We know they are the future of warfare. However, considering we are dealing with a nuclear situation in a country that has nuclear capabilities, should the U.S. be sending probably a stronger message to Iran about business than just a new fleet of drones?
Well, from our perspective, how can you send a message to Iran? I mean, you just seen the resurgence of the Taliban taking over Afghanistan. This is, in my opinion, it has to do with leadership and accountability. And right now, this is what we don't have in our White House. So when you allow something like what happened in Afghanistan to happen, the resurgence of the Taliban, every single country that wanted to be enemies of the United States are now being more emboldened. So this is what you see from the lack of leadership and the lack of accountability. I think that the United States is going to have to go above and beyond and send a strong message to Iran that, you know what you're doing, it's going to be frowned upon, and we're going to take action. We're going to retaliate against the continuous production of nuclear weapons and uranium.
But that's the question, Joe. That's $1 million question, especially considering this administration and their approaches from a military perspective the past few months. How does the United States send that message to Iran at this stage of the game? What is the best way?
Well, I think right now is nothing that the United States really can do. Anything that we can do now, we would look like a bunch of hypocrites. What we have to do right now is just sit back and wait and see what happens with Iran. You know, China and Russia are now heavy in the Middle East, creating partnerships and creating deals with the Taliban and with Iran. And so right now we're sitting here twiddling our fingers like we're doing right now.
And sometimes you have to wonder, is it good to sit back and wait, or do you get more proactive, especially considering, like you said, the world is questioning how strong the U.S. really is, if they really back up what they say. So let me ask you this. If the countries involved are able to broker a new nuclear deal with Iran, how do you think it's going to be different, considering it's basically the same administration here in the United States which negotiated the first that got us in this position when they changed offices?
Well, from my perspective, I think that, we're sitting and we're waiting. I mean, China and Iran are making deals. I mean, if the United States makes a move against Iran, we will look like the biggest hypocrites in the entire world. The only thing we can do is wait to see what new superpower rises up and see what kind of deal we can make with that superpower to continue world peace. But I mean, unfortunately, with our administration that we have right now, and I am trying my best not to talk a lot of trash about it and bring the most balanced perspective that I know how, but we're in a stalemate position. We can't do anything. We're stuck between being weak and looking like a hypocrite. And unfortunately, this is the position that the Joe Biden administration put the United States in.
Well, and that's probably, I think, a very accurate way of looking at it. We're kind of in a standstill right now. There's not much we can do as we're still trying to figure out the downward ramifications of the chaos that was caused in Afghanistan. But when we go with drones, that's our message, our first message back to Iran for defying and not letting people in to look at their transparency into what they're doing. Do you think this new Iran president who's just come in, he could be using this threat to actually have nuclear weapons to bring wider sanction relief from the Biden administration regarding all the oil exports, which we know are crippling the economy? But with this administration being Joe Biden, will it work? Do you see Biden actually releasing some of those restrictions?
Do you know what? I can see Joe Biden giving Iran anything that they want to. America is looking like a joke to the entire world. And I called this back in January. The Biden administration is going to be completely weak on international relationships. And now you see Iran, who is completely emboldened. They don't care about what the United States is doing. Joe Biden, he's cut down our own oil pipeline, and then he's given other countries the ability to transfer oil. Now he's begging OPEC, which Iran is a part of OPEC, for more oil. So now Iran has the upper hand. And if the United States said, you know what, we're going to continue sanctions, we're going to press more sanctions, Iran said, you know what, we're going to not sell you oil, or we're going to raise the price of oil, and we're going to bankrupt the United States. This is where I see us going until we get a new president.
And that's kind of, I feel like, why we had such high gas prices, a few years ago before, both under Bush and Obama at that time. I feel like we're kind of regressing 10 to 15 years. But, I have to wonder, Joe, with every day that there is not transparency about what's going on in Iran, or there's not even a deal to grant it or guarantee it, do you think that that's kind of a win for Iran as they can continue development of their nuclear weapons unmonitored?
Well, I think it is for a win for Iran. And I'm going to tell you this. If the United States strikes Iran, the United States is going to have to strike the Taliban, and we're going to have to, declare an all-out war. And from my perspective, this is how World War III starts. You have China coming in and making...
Why they keep talking about this damn World War III shit? Why they keep saying that?
Deals with the Taliban. You have the Russia coming in making deals with the Taliban. They're heavily partnered with Iran, and so if the United States strikes Iran, if the United States strikes the Taliban, then China and Russia have the...
You already know how Esau like to play too. They some scum. They had set some shit up, make it look like they did some shit, and just so they can have reason to go in there. I ain't gonna play the rest of this. You can go into this video. There's a lot of information on it too. Go to this and I'll end this out. It's a book of Obadiah, chapter 1. Cause I know people attention span real short, so I try to keep these videos to a minimum. But it's a book of Obadiah, chapter 1. It says in verse 2, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen; they are greatly despised." Because these people, they hip just as well as I'm sitting here making this video, and I'm hip to all the shit that Esau be doing. These other elites, these other upper level heathens, so to speak, they know exactly what Esau be doing. They know the games they like to play, the bullshit they like to pull. So they despise them right now. And the Most High really putting the spirit on them. They get ready to kick out this third woke. Verse 3, it says, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee." That's why now you got the proud boys running around. That's Esau all day, man. You can't see who Esau is. You blind as fuck. It says, "Thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?" And you hear him on here? Got the ex-Navy man talking about they in a stalemate right now. If you know about chess, you know about that stalemate shit. You can't go nowhere once you're in a stalemate. You gotta force some shit. Let me go to this other precept and I end this up. But yeah, I got a few more in mind that just popped up. It's in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 16. Now these engineers is doing this is creating these weapons, also known as arrows, in the scriptures as well. The Most High made them create this just for this. It says in Isaiah chapter 54, verse 16, Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and they bringeth forth an instrument for his work. Not for their work, not because they want to go make rockets to go out of space and all this other shit. It's for his work. It says, and I have created the waster to destroy. And then you keep hearing them talking about, let me see, there's one more thing in there. You keep hearing them talking about the third woe. That third woe is real close, man. Just pay attention to what's really going on. It's the book of Revelation. I just end this off of this. Book of Revelation, chapter 11. Verse 14, it says, The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And this was written so long ago, but now it's coming to pass now. Like the scripture say, though it tarry, wait for it, as it is written. So it ain't just something that's in a book. Ain't no myth, ain't no fairy tale, ain't no fable. You can see all the stuff happening right now. Signs in the sun, the moon, the stars, all these earthquakes going on. The waves roaring. Plagues on the earth. Now you talking about, I seen a video that one of the elders was making. I want to say Elder Tahar was talking about the measles. Now it's an outbreak with that. So you got all types of stuff going on, man. You see all this stuff popping up. So I ain't gonna go on too much more. I just want to bring this information up. I don't want to rush it out. It was edifying. Call all y'all, Shalom to the lit.